Hello everybody, and welcome to the new episode of the Zeroqode series, where today we're having a very exciting and trendy conversation with the founders of the, well, I want to say all the rage, but I don't want to overhype this. It's actually a very cool application, regardless of what the newest trend is. So today we're going to be talking to the founders of LinksUp, a marketplace, Sassun and Albert. And they're going to be telling us about their journey of how they started, how they discover no-code in general, Web3 and NFTs. I mean, all these are almost buzzwords these days, but it's going to be exciting to know what was your guys' journey into all of this, each one on their own individually, because they're all definitely require a bit of their own story. But LinksUp is actually an NFT slash creator marketplace, which has been founded by two gentlemen that we're going to be talking today on the call. It's interesting because, first of all, you know, the NFTs and in general, the Web3 marketplaces are gaining the momentum in the probably last at least few months, actually a little bit more than that, but in the mainstream, they're probably very flashy for the last maybe 6 months. And what's notable for us, because we're super biased, obviously, is that the no-code the part of the whole story, basically the marketplace and the application is built without code by the team with no prior coding or development experience. And this is something that we're very keen to know more about. So Sassun, Albert, welcome. It's great to have you here.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah, so thank you. Basically, yeah, as I said, there's at least a few ways we can start it. So I'll start from the very beginning. So, right. So probably it would be best to start with the idea for the marketplace, because you told it in a couple of the previous interviews that you basically did not have prior coding experience. So how did you guys come up with the idea for the app in the first place? And then we'll slowly segue into the no-code part, because I believe that this is probably the best way to kind of unfold this. So where did the idea for the marketplace come from, and how did it turn into an NFT marketplace, which is what it is these days?
Yeah, thank you very much. Super excited to be here. Yeah, so how we started, actually, we started with a completely different idea in the beginning. Me and my brother, our third co-founder, who isn't here right now, and we started freelancing. So we quit our jobs and we started to freelance. And we stumbled across several pain points that the freelancers had. And we realized we can automate many processes in the backend, and we can just make the life of a freelancer much easier. And in the beginning, it was completely different. The idea, we were more going towards backend solution. But during the time, I mean, it's quite normal for early startups to pivot, right? And also, given that no-code is such a powerful thing and makes it so quick and easy for founders to iterate. So we realize there is demand, and there is this Web3 movement and NFTs, which are giving lots of empowerment and enabling lots of new things for creators and freelancers. And later our team was joined by Sassun, who is super smart when it comes to crypto, is the best. And he also gave us this spark, and we kind of went all in this direction. And now there's really lots of stuff going on, but we'll try to make it structured, the discussion,
right,
one after the other. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. Thank you. Awesome. So, okay, now we understand where the Web3 part came from. Sassun, you have been an inspiration, apparently.
Yeah, kind of. At the same time, also Albert and Haku were an inspiration, because they both started with Bubble back then, when it was a freelancing tool, as Albert just said. And I'm actually coming from a tech background, so I have been working also as a developer, etc. And a fun fact here, which I always love to tell, is back then when I joined the company as a kind of CTO, or the guy who takes over the technical part, I didn't knew Bubble, right?
Mhm.
And I thought, okay, guys, yeah, nice playing stuff here.
Yeah.
Great that you, Albert, as a finance guy, created this application. Really nice. Yeah, we will quickly ditch that and build it with React, Node.js, etc.
Mhm.
So I was super biased as a developer of Bubble,
course.
but then I figured out and played with it myself and built some stuff and added features, and I very quickly figured out, okay, well, there is actually no need to transform it to a traditional stack. I even would say that this is the way to go, and we shouldn't even bother to go with a traditional stack. And this was the turning point for me, where I said, okay, well, this is the future. No code is the future. You could also say Bubble is low code because you can add a bunch of code there as well, right? You can
Mhm.
write your own plugins, you can run JavaScript, etc. So that was a very, very interesting moment, right? Because me as a developer who came into this space and had some prejudices and bias against
sure,
no
yeah.
code, I went full into that, which is quite funny somehow, right?
Totally, yeah. I know exactly where you're coming from. I had the same impression. Nice toy. I'll probably can build an application for my kid or something like that, and then I have to do the real thing. And apparently, this is a common ground that's being shared by all the people who have been working in tech one way or another. Because, come on, you need like $100,000 to develop an application that is doing something. Otherwise, you shouldn't even bother. And that like Bubble is completely turning that impression around. So it's great to see that there's a lot of developers who are not only skeptical in the beginning, but are also kind of understanding the idea of it. And a lot of times it's kind of being positioned as an antagonizing thing, meaning that Bubble versus the code or no code versus the code. It kind of helps to start the discussion, I think, but it's not necessarily a right place to actually go to, I think. And then Sassun, you can probably support me here, because those tools can actually coexist and synergize perfectly well. As you just mentioned, you can plug in code into Bubble if you want to, and you can actually plug in Bubble into code as well. So there's no limitation on back and forth. So and those
Yes.
things are just meant for each other.
Yeah, totally. And in software development, it's always about making things more productive. It's
Mm-hmm.
making things more easier, more efficient. And
Mm-hmm.
essentially, no code is like the best level of extraction or abstraction. This is the word I
Mm-hmm.
was wanted to say, where you can make things easier. Because look, as a traditional developer, you are not writing your front end library
Mm-hmm.
like React yourself. You use something that is already out
Exactly.
there. Why? Because you want to speed up things. You want to use stuff that's already proven. And I see essentially Bubble or no-code tools just as another layer of abstraction, which makes things even more easier, even more faster to build. So I see this definitely as a very positive thing. And sometimes I'm joking around with my fellow developer colleagues. Yesterday I was out for having a beer with my friend who is a software engineer, and I was talking about Bubble and no code, etc. And he was like, no, coding is the real thing. And
after a couple of beers, right?
yeah, and I told him actually that it feels like kind of a taxi driver, and I'm telling him a Uber is coming now, and he feels disrupted by that, and we
It's a
had a
great
great
analogy.
laugh. We had a great laugh about that, but I think
cool.
I think people just need to try it, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure if he would try it and get hands-on into it, build some stuff, even run his JavaScript, etc., then he has a whole different understanding of what the capabilities are, and does not think of that as a playground, let's say, right? So very interesting. And one other thing I kind of philosophically thought about this was, the difference between a no-code developer and a code developer is essentially one writes code with a mouse and the other one with the keyboard, right? To
Totally.
frame it like that. So yeah, it's both writing algorithms, just another way, right? So
yeah, exactly. I
definitely
think
feel
Bubble has
that.
a term for this, visual development, which is, I think,
Yep.
is exactly on point.
Yep.
Wow, amen to that. Definitely, this is something that more people should know and that should hear. Hopefully, will help a little bit with that, with your inputs for that. So, coming back to the LinksUp story, so Albert, you actually developed the first version of the application all by yourself with your brother, having no prior technical background. That's actually pretty cool and impressive. Can you tell us a little bit more about how did that go? I mean, how long did it take you to get from, let's say, zero to working application where you we already talking with Sassun and getting him on board? Right. Yeah. Go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. That's a good question. And I had no experience in coding or IT. I used to work in finance and investments, and I did several projects, minor projects in IT, but from a completely different perspective. But I had zero to none experience to coding. So when we started LinksUp, the idea in the beginning, we didn't even know that much about the existence of Bubble. And we were just brainstorming with other founders, talking to people, and we just heard from somewhere, yeah, there are these no-code tools, and we didn't know that Bubble is particularly so powerful, but we decided just to give it a shot. And we were in the beginning, we thought maybe we can just draft a landing page for the beginning.
Right.
We didn't think that far, that fully fledged MVP or Web3 app or something like that. And I just started playing around with Bubble. So the learning curve took a bit time in the beginning. Many things I had to learn. Of course, you know, for someone who already had experience in coding, for Sassun, it's easier, you know, to understand how the database works and so on. For me, it was totally new, so I had to learn it. But then I realized that how intuitive everything is and how capable Bubble is, and landing page, we built it, but then we started also with the app, and then for me, I love playing games on PlayStation stuff, right?
Who doesn't? Yeah.
And to be honest, for me, Bubble is very comparable to gaming. I get the same feeling, so it's very addictive in that sense. It started to kind of suck me in, and I started learning more and more and more, and then I realized, hey, you can actually do quite a bit with this. And yeah, I mean, this is how it started. And then I became the Bubble guy of the team, from coming from finance, and then Sassun joined, and we just had like really great capabilities.
Pretty cool. So fast forward to today, from back when you started. So how is the application doing today? Before we get into the weeds about the technicalities, because there's a lot of questions that I would love to ask, and so do the folks, because there's a lot of questions related to the stack, to where do you get started, where do you learn about this. But just to tell people a little bit more about how your marketplace works. So you are monetizing the application, right? So in some shape and form. Again, it's Web3, so it's a little special in that sense. But how are you guys making money? What's your plan for this application, let's say in the midterm to longer term, for it to grow? And last but not least, did you guys bootstrap the whole thing, or did you somehow get the outside funding at some point?
Yeah, these are all very interesting questions. Should I start, or Sassun, would you like to start?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so at this point, LinksUp is part of something bigger that we're doing. Our main focus is right now these tech tree DAOs that we started.
Mhm.
The idea of the entire thing is to enable people to contribute to creating startups via work for ownership concept, utilizing all NFTs and tokens and so on. And LinksUp right now it's in a transition of becoming part of community asset of our DAO, where we're starting these guild teams, and people will be able, based on their skills, to contribute to it. It's kind of becoming the community ownership, right? And we're also doing right now this 10K NFT giveaway. We're announcing the winner next week. It's basically, you can imagine it's an NFT, and the winner will be able to use that NFT it's kind of like a coupon. You can use it for Stack3 DAO to develop a product for you, which is worth 10K, something like
Pretty
that.
cool.
And
By the way, for people who are fresh to the whole Web3 terminology and topic, can you elaborate on what DAO is and why are you guys making the marketplace as part of it? What's the point?
Awesome.
Yep, I can go a little bit into that. So a DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization. It sounds very complicated, but essentially it's just a community-owned company, if you want so. So imagine a marketplace in a traditional sense. It's a company, they make money, and the money is taken for the employees, etc. And this is how they usually work. So mostly they are extracting the value from their users. Imagine social network like Facebook, right? They extract the value from the users, not in a bad sense, but they add content there, and then Facebook runs ads and makes money from that content of their users. With the DAO model or the Web3 model, it's more like those users within the social network, like Facebook, they own also the company. So if, for example, Facebook runs ads or makes money via ads, then essentially that gets distributed back to the community, to those who create actually the value in Facebook by posting content, etc. And we are thinking of something similar in terms of LinksUp and Stack3, where we say, okay, the community members should also participate by engaging, creating content, doing work, etc., where we redistribute the profits back to the community. This is kind of the Web3 DAO model, where you own as a member of the community as well. So a quite interesting experiment, I would say. Though they are very much quite successful DAOs out there as well. But yeah, this is basically the idea of it.
Awesome. Yeah, that makes more sense. So basically, you're turning the marketplace, which is kind of a community on its own, into something that would be a tangible asset for people to be invested, not only as, let's say, a place where they put their art, but also as the community which they gain from, not only, let's say, emotionally, but also quite, tangibly in terms of finances, if you will. So, and I guess decision making at some point, depending on how you want to drive this. Pretty cool. Okay, and coming back to my questions about whether or not this is something that you guys have created just on your own, or and how are you planning to monetize this, like for the DAO, I guess, and essentially for the team as well.
Yeah, Albert can talk a little bit about the tools we have used. Albert, actually, I'm the techie, but Albert did the main part of that, since he is our bubble guru, actually.
Yeah. So regarding the tech part, we started from the basics, and then we started to get to add more complexity. At this point, LinksUp is a combination of two separate apps, which work together via app connector. and it utilizes many external APIs. And yeah, it has become quite a complex ecosystem at this point, which needs to be maintained and so on, but still way easier to keep overview compared to code-based products. Right.
Totally.
Yeah, we haven't switched to a dedicated plan yet. However, we cranked it up to max capacity levels, and seems to be sufficient. Also, we have quite so many users, triggering workflows using the app basis. But yeah, but
awesome.
And,
if it's not a secret, by the way, do you guys have some understanding about the approximate quantity of users on your app, like in total? Again, if it's not a part of your commercial secret or anything like that.
No, not at all. So LinksUp itself, we host something like 3K plus users, and yeah, the main interest is right now is towards DAO concept. The people incredibly active, incredibly ready to get engaged and become a contributor and create something really awesome. LinksUp itself, it helps many creators. We have many users who are reliant on this easy approach. We have so many things that increase the productivity of the creators, including fully fledged calendar integrations and so on. Yeah, so it's part of our job to also take care of these users and to make sure that the app is running, up and running all the time. And yeah, and when it comes to, sorry, I kind of forgot the other question. Sorry about that.
Yeah, sure. The question was whether or not this whole thing was bootstrapped, or did you guys attract some capital and some shape and form, maybe via the Web3 channels, and again, or maybe not, maybe first you got some more traditional sources. So how did that work for you guys so far?
Yeah, so you can start, Sassun, and then you can maybe also continue. So in the beginning, was the idea was we heard from others that you have to collect like millions and then build a team of 50 people and then start coding the product and so on. Then we realized it's not necessary at all, and we did raise a tiny round, nothing comparable to millions. But, that was sufficient at that point for us to kickstart, and then we kept it super lean, and it has always been our priority to keep it lean, and we have been managing to do everything ourselves up to this point.
Awesome.
And right now we have also many contributors to DAO, which help us also. So yeah, you can say the team is much bigger, right?
Great.
This is also the power of no-code, right? I mean, if I imagine we need to build this whole application with all the iterations we needed to have done till we get to the point where we are, I think we would have burned a lot of money by just spending for salaries for the developers, etc. So no-code also really helped us there to just iterate, keep adding features, talking to customers, iterating, etc. And it took a while till we are there where we are currently. But if we hadn't had like a solution like no-code, I guess it would be very expensive to iterate to come to the state where we are currently.
Totally. Yeah, there are some people who actually don't necessarily build in no code for the financial part primarily, because they could afford the team of developers, but then they just see that the flexibility of changing things themselves, quickly tweaking things to make sure that they get to the point where they understand the most and then iterate to the best version of their product faster, is actually an argument for them to actually stick with no code rather than spending money and more time on something that would be doing the same thing, but for for a lot more resources essentially. So definitely thank you for sharing about that. By the way, how many people are currently on your team as of today? Are there still how much is it? Five of you guys, or is there more?
So right now it's me, Sassun, and two other co-founders.
Right.
LinksUp, so Hako and Yeta.
Okay, there's.
Who's also my wife. She also is a co-founder. She contributed a lot also.
Yeah. Whether you like it or not, she's a co-founder.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 4 of us.
Pretty cool. It's fairly lean team. Do you guys plan to hire more folks at like anytime soon, or are you guys feeling comfortable in the current setup, giving the community part as well? So I'm guessing that your team is kind of bigger than that, right? With all the contributors and stuff. But what's your plan for hiring?
Yeah, exactly. So hiring right now, we're planning to hire on decentralized basis via DAO. And there are so many amazing people that that are active in Web3 space, and we're just amazed how many skillful people there are and how motivated they are to contribute and become a part of something big. And this is the route we're taking right now.
Yeah. So to add on that, always looking for good bubble developers for sure. So if you want to join us, feel free to drop a message on any channels where we are, and then let's talk.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. We will repeat that in the end of the discussion when we will be sharing your contacts and then also the things that you can offer and are looking for sure. By the way, there are quite a few questions that we have received already from the people who are hanging out in the chat. We will dedicate some time towards the end of the hour. Well, we will go over that. Some people are even asking for a demo, by the way. I'm not sure if you're ready for that, but that's one of the most popular questions. People are interested to see how does the application actually work. Maybe like just a few flows, if you don't mind. But it's okay if you would not to try it for themselves. But just letting you know that this is what the people want. All right. So coming back to the development of your product. So I'm guessing that the most interesting part and something that not all people are realizing is that actually creating a Web3 NFT blockchain, whatever the application, whatever you want to call it, application with no-code is quite straightforward. So what was your journey of learning that? Because there are some tools, obviously, that are available on the market right now. There are plugins, there are templates. Some of them that you have used in your journey, from what I know. We are also super into that at Zeroqode. We're currently developing a ton of various Web3 and crypto-based plugins and templates as well. So how did that learning curve went for you? So meaning how easy was for you basically to integrate Bubble with the blockchain? Because it seems to be something quite complex, but how did you find this in your experience and in your journey?
Yeah, I can take the development part off chain, let's say. So I have been hacking around with blockchain so before working on LinksUp. So I had some contacts already there, built some smart contracts, etc. But actually, Albert figured out a plugin. I think that was the first plugin back then that let Bubble developers to deploy smart contracts, etc. And he figured that out somehow and used it. And I was also amazed again by how quickly you can do that. And maybe Albert can give some context on that and share his journey on integrating that.
Yeah, definitely. So we started with using a couple of plugins, and I think the first guys who first implemented the plugins for Web3 are Easy Code. I think it's called differently now. I can't recall, but they did develop powerful plugins, and I know that Zeroqode, you guys also have already the MetaMask integration and stuff like that. And I can tell everyone who's interested, it's super easy to start it. You know, like one can think that, oh, Web3, like NFTs, it's super complex. Blockchain, you have to know Solidity and so on, rocket science. Actually, these plugins that you also develop, as I mean, just like no-code itself, it makes it easy for and accessible for everyone. And
right.
When it comes to a bit more deeper stuff, of course, like tokenomics, deploying tokens and stuff. Sassun is the guy for that. He has a crypto background, but utilizing plugins, yeah, it's accessible for everyone, including me, without background. The plugins themselves that we use a MetaMask integration. We used the Rarible integration, so where the NFTs which are deployed, they are deployed to a Rarible marketplace.
Okay.
And we also use how's it called? Wallet Connect. It's for connecting via mobile device, right?
Right.
Yeah, and you're good to go, basically.
Pretty cool. So authentication via MetaMask, pulling and pushing assets to marketplaces via Rarible, and then the wallet connectivity, right? Essentially for you to be able to manage.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a pretty good trio. Okay, and do you plan on adding more Web3 integrations, like more plugins, like or more features? What's in your roadmap from what can be shared with the community, of course?
We have many ideas, Sassun. If you want, you can.
Yeah, there are a lot of things. Some we cannot tell as of now, but one interesting thing is, so there are different standards of tokens, right? Non-fungible and fungible. The non-fungible are basically the NFTs, right? But also there is the ERC20 contract, which you can kind of fractionalize the tokens. You could like have 0.01 of that specific token. And we want to deploy also contracts like ERC20 contracts. So you're a creator, you are a singer, songwriter, and you have your Instagram, you have your Spotify, you are on various different platforms. And you should be able then with LinksUp to create your own token, this ERC20 token, and kind of utilize that to sell your services or give access to certain digital products with your token, etc. So we are also thinking about that, to have like ERC20 contracts deployed and tokens enabled then for the creators.
Yeah. By the way, one interesting addition to that, a few days ago, one of our fellow contributors, he actually, I think they developed a plugin also. I think it's also live, and it's also worth checking it out. So me as a creator, I can, for example, create and deploy Albert token, let's say, right? It's getting more and more interesting.
Diverse, definitely. Actually, I second all of that. It is the thing with Web3 is actually very similar to how things are with no-code, because a lot of people just don't know about it. I mean, like, what is this? I mean, I heard it somewhere, but I'm not sure what that actually means and how this can, be interesting and beneficial for me. Same thing for no-code and for Web3. Then some people who heard about it, they're saying like, okay, this is not serious. I mean, people are just playing around, and that's not for me. Next stage is, okay, I know it's actually pretty cool, but this looks complicated, and I don't want to get into this because it will take me a lot of time. And it just take like one step on each of these stages to just get past it and understand that yeah, of course, there are things to learn as with everything that's worth doing, but it's very accessible and very available, and it just made for people to use it. Essentially, Web3 technology is made by people for people, same as no code. It is made by guys who have been trying to solve a problem for a lot of people, and they did. So in this sense, I feel that there's a lot of similarities in the mentality and in the philosophy of these two. That's why probably they work so well together, which is again something that people don't realize. And then the project like yours and teams like yours are actually the one to thank for actually showing that it's possible, and then showing that it can be done pretty well. So thank you definitely for breaching that gap. The more people should know about LinksUp and your guys' experience to kind of make it look like what it really is, accessible and welcoming for people who are willing to give it a shot. That's for sure. How do you see what do you see as future for NFTs? Because there has been a lot of polar opposite opinions about NFTs and where they're coming and where they're going. Definitely a lot of hype. Some of it helped, some of it actually maybe didn't. So what do you think is next? Because it's so much beyond the pictures, right, that everybody knows about NFTs from mostly. What do you think is coming for NFTs?
Yes, that's a very, very good point, and actually you nailed it already. So initially, NFTs were very tied to pictures and basically JPEGs that you can essentially have a relation to, similar to the Bored Ape Yacht Club,
Right.
etc. So this was the beginning, and initially when new technology emerges, it's always used for weird stuff, kind of, right? And there were a lot of artists, which is pretty cool. I think they kind of, especially during the COVID phases, they had a way to monetize their art, etc. So that was the first notion of the usage of NFTs. But right now we see that essentially it goes into the area where NFTs are more used for utility. So it's not anymore only having a nice collection of apes or, I don't know, tigers or something, which is basically tied to a picture, but that the NFT, that this token, that this coin is tied to utility. So I could create an NFT as a creator, as a singer, for example, and then my audience can buy this NFT, which is unique. So there's only one, and the holder of, or the owner of that specific NFT can do a very special thing which others cannot do. And there it's like open for creativity. You can tie it to some services, you can tie it to some events that can be attended only if you have that specific NFT. And yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff you can do. And the cool thing is that you could potentially sell it. So it's not something you have once and then you can use it, but essentially you can also sell it on secondary markets. We know OpenSea, etc. Like, where you can resell this token.
As a good example that I know.
Exactly. And the price of that NFT, if it's a good one from I don't know, Rihanna or something, that for sure can also increase in price, right? And it has nice nice effects. Yeah, Albert, what do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think what recently happened, and it shows that many NFTs which didn't have utilities, they were far overhyped, you know, all these images. I personally love the art idea, and I also own and purchased a couple of art NFTs of some artists, you know, and for a few, you know, couple of $100, let's say, most, right? But let's say an NFT without utility, which is being crazy amount of money. I think that these people started to realize that, okay, after what happened to Luna and stuff, okay, this probably doesn't make sense, yeah. And right now, people are starting to realize that actually utility is the key, and this is also very good for us because LinksUp is not just NFTs, but the main purpose of the app is the token gating, right? So how it works is, since we initially started with online services, online events, and stuff for creators, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then the next step was for us to implement a token gating component. So you can imagine something like Patreon, but the access is not via memberships, but NFT memberships, right? So if you want an NFT, you get the access automatically to the content of the creator. And there are many benefits. One benefit is, as Sassun mentioned, the royalty fees from secondary sales. So if me as a creator, I'm getting bigger and more famous, the value from secondary market would also increase, right? It's something like a stock which is tied to a creator directly. And the other thing is the independency from big platforms. So it's not like YouTube or Patreon who can just shut down the content of that. Like it's decentralized, and I can with it whatever I want, right? Yeah. So exactly.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you. Definitely, we don't know what's coming, but it's definitely very exciting with all the opportunities, and I definitely agree with both of you here. So there had been a few more questions. The next popular question after the demo question, which we're soon slide into, is the question about the economics, meaning that we kind of mentioned in terms of how you're organizing your business model as a DAO, towards the DAO probably is a better way to put it. But can you elaborate a bit more? Basically, if to put it very simply for people, is how are you making money on the process, and what's the tokenomics of the DAO? Like, how are you visioning the whole thing working for both you as the core team, as well as the people who are contributing and working on it, the users or contributors? So yeah, starting with a simple one about how are you guys making money?
Yep, I can jump into that. So we will essentially take a fee from all the revenue that gets generated. By we, I mean actually the DAO. And so this is the first thing. So for every transaction that's happening, the DAO will generate some revenue. And we haven't launched a token for the DAO yet. It's all in the making. It's all in the process. But what we envision is basically once we have a token and we have a treasury of that DAO, then the community members of that DAO, they can so-called stake their tokens. That means that they need to lock their token into a smart contract. And the more time range they lock the token, let's say for 6 months or 1 year or 4 weeks, depending on how long they lock their token, the more revenue they will get from the DAO treasury. We call this kind of conviction investment or conviction voting. That means the more you trust in the DAO, the more you kind of stake your tokens into that, the more you are also allowed to participate or accrue value from that treasury. So this will be basically the tokenomics. So we will make revenue by each transaction that's happening within the system that gets distributed to the treasury, and then people who stake their tokens will accrue the revenue from the treasury.
Awesome.
I hope it makes sense to.
Yeah, I think that does. But let us know in the comments, guys, if it does, because I think that sounds like a great plan to me. Okay. Before we ask a few more questions that we have got before and during the meeting, how do you guys feel about the demo? Maybe just show a couple of basic flows. We don't necessarily need to earn $1 million right while we're on this podcast, but maybe just to show a couple of cool moves within the app. Whoever is, wants to do that.
Yeah, let's do it. Albert,
yeah,
what do you think?
Actually happy to demonstrate. I can maybe directly demonstrate my profile and you can get the idea how it works.
Sure.
Okay, so not that well prepared for the demo, but I'll give it a shot. So So I guess I just share the screen and
yeah. Well, we'll just follow and ask some questions in case there will be anything that pops.
Okay. Give me 1 second. I'll be able to start.
Sure.
Yep. Okay. Okay. I think,
we can see it.
Awesome. Yeah. So this is my
This
profile.
looks very cool.
Thank you. This is the profile, the main dashboard, and the way it's built, it's basically, so just to mention, we have nothing to hide. We're a DAO, we're a community, and community asset, and I can basically talk about anything here. And it's by the way, LinksUp is free, and we right now we don't charge anything other than fees from selling. Yeah, so this is it. So imagine here you have all the control panel, and here you can start creating the content. You can create different kinds of content here, and this is my page. These are my NFTs, right? And you can create any kind of NFT, music NFTs. You can subscribe also via API. You can embed your tweets and so on. And here you can create services. My service, for example, we're connected, integrated with Huddle. Huddle is the Zoom alternative for Web3, basically. Right. It's super easy to use, but at the same time, we also have the Zoom integration if you wish. You can set pricing here, the booking details, your availability you can specify here, and you're good to go. It also, the NFT part, I will jump to right now. We have here, different themes that you can choose from. So basically, what you see here, this is the second app, and here you can see the background, and it's integrated with Unsplash or video libraries also. You can just customize it the way you want. Interesting is also the bookings part. You can connect with and synchronize with all of your calendars. Google Calendar.
Really cool.
Yeah, so it's like full Calendly functionality, and you can even co-congate your schedule. You can say only whoever has holds my NFT gets access to the schedule, right? So it's also quite cool.
Okay.
And, here we have some insights. You can see how much bookings you have, how much revenue you make. Don't make revenue actually myself.
It's in the making.
Yeah. So here you have the standard payment option, like you can just integrate with Stripe and get paid via Stripe easily, or you can just connect to your MetaMask and Wallet Connect, or you can also purchase ETH crypto directly from you. Like you just click here and we're connected with this wallet thing. So the other thing is also we have many other things like integrations part. Here you have integration with Slack. So if you get booked, you get notification directly to our Slack channel. Integrated with MailChimp, Huddle, Zoom,
awesome.
Social tags, and Zio. You can even define. You can make it just like a normal website.
Right. So essentially, you're generating a subdomain for a person, right? To kind of be used as his forefront.
Exactly.
Okay.
So this is my page, for example. It's Albert LinksUp me. So you directly get your subdomain, which is whatever name you choose here, and then LinksUp, right? And this is and let's say you can see here. This is my NFT. I purchased it from OpenSea, and I just put it on my own platform. This is one of the advantages of NFTs of the decentralized ownership, you're not tied to any other platform. I take it from there and I just put it here, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And here how it works. This is my NFT. And these are all the details, which are also in blockchain. And this is my content. So right now, exactly. Okay, now currently it's empty or something, but yeah. So it has one unlockable content service or something, and the app tracks if you hold this NFT, you get the access to my content. So this is the token gating part, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's very impressive. I think that the closest analogy from a non-Web2 world is Gumroad. So the Gumroad is kind of like an automation service for creators, which they can sell their stuff in an old school way. And what LinksUp seems to be doing, actually, I think you guys are even doing a bit more than what Gumroad is doing, but essentially it's automating the whole part of creating a front end, making it easy for people to post their stuff and get paid for it on a regular basis. But yeah, you're taking this to the next level, essentially.
Yeah, you can. And this is also the services part. I'm particularly proud of this. I know it's not entirely Web3, but you can imagine it's like Calendly, and it's also fully synchronized with your calendars.
Right.
I use it a lot. It's a big help for me daily.
Yeah.
I get the full overview. And also, it's not plain, just white. You can just customize it.
Yeah. So whenever I want to make a meeting with Albert, he says, "Please purchase an NFT so you can book a slot."
Yeah, that's how you monetize your startup for sure. Charge your co-founders to get it going. Okay, that's super impressive. Thank you, Albert, and definitely I'm sure there's a lot more to explore, and there's probably a lot more cooking. Is there anything else you would like to demo, or?
I'm not gonna take too much time. Just maybe last thing, if anyone wants to create an NFT, this is how you do it. The NFT tab, and then
okay.
The next step would be then connecting your MetaMask or connect, and then you can. It's a multi-chain Ethereum and Polygon. You can decide the royalty fees, and you're good to go. That's it.
That is super cool. Okay. Thank you. The guys were asking about it, and I have the same question. So you mentioned that it took you a couple of months to get the whole thing started initially, but how much dev time it actually took for you guys to get to, let's say, from the initial version of the marketplace to the current version of the marketplace? Because this is very impressive.
Yeah, we never tracked it, but Albert, what is your gut feeling on that?
Yeah, so we didn't track it, of course. We started way before, and our initial version, which nothing to do with Web3, to be honest, that's the version that got the #1 product on Product Hunt, and the Web3 version got #3. So I know, but
that's a coincidence. What a coincidence! Web3 got the #3.
I think that's quite understandable for us because it's a technology that is early stage and being adopted and stuff. But yeah, so initially it took us quite some time. So considering also that had not that much experience and had learning curve to overcome. But after we did it, we got like proficient in Bubble and also Sassun contributing just like many other amazing Bubble people. And then it took us less time, and even Web3 integrations and stuff took us like, I would say a couple of months.
That's very, very cool. Obviously, I mean, I think the most time was spent on actually learning and iterating, not necessarily like building the final product, because as you said, the initial version was one thing, that you pivoted along the way was a totally different thing, and now it's probably the third thing, and it's going to be the fourth thing. Even the LinksUp tag right there says 3.0, which is
Yeah.
Definitely, it doesn't mean that it's not the first version. So, and I think it's a natural curve for any application, especially with the new technology like Web3, which gives so much opportunity that you almost don't know where to go. So we're facing that all the time. We're right now very passionate about Web3 in general and everything that the technology offers. We're building a lot of plugins to make it easier for people to access the whole thing. We're creating templates for people to get a head start with maybe some of the plugins already integrated, and we're also working on a couple of our own products in the Web3 domain. So there's definitely more coming on that soon. It's not going to be a marketplace, so we're not going to be competing with LinksUp, but definitely cool to see more no-code players in the Web3 space. I think it's definitely you're up to something very, very promising. Last question from the folks on the call. So which chain are you going to be using for the DAO token, and what was the deciding factor? How did you pick one? Because there's so many.
Yeah, so we will launch on Polygon. First, because it's an EVM chain, don't want to go too technical, but basically it's running a Ethereum virtual machine where you can run multiple contracts. So Polygon will be the chain, and the reason is because it's low fees, right? So Ethereum, everybody knows, quite high fees, and transactions take comparably quite long time.
Sure.
With Polygon, it's low fees and it's quite fast, and the user experience is very good.
Pretty cool. Last few questions. So for people who are aspiring to start building both in no-code and Web3, what is the resource that you would recommend on getting started with? Like, because there's a lot of interesting materials out there. They're a little scattered. It's a little difficult for a person to just kind of dive into all this. Where would you start today, knowing what you know right now in terms of like learning more about Web3 and finding the place for an opportunity?
I can personally share my experience. So first, the best source is Twitter, social for Web3, and tons of Web2 related stuff going on. There are tons of stuff to follow and learn, and get involved in DAOs. Like it's the best thing you can do. Like in different kind of developer and project DAOs, just like Stack3. I'm talking generally DAOs. You can just get involved. You get access to like-minded people, to people who are very experienced and who can help you out and contribute to your projects. I mean, that's my personal experience.
Thank you. Yeah, awesome. Sassun, what do you think? What would you send people asking to teach them Web3?
Yes, join our Discord. I would say.
That's a good one.
There are a lot of no-code developers. There are a lot of code developers, marketers within Web3, and basically every profession who are keen about the space. And we have a lot of discussions there. So you can join our Discord, write your questions there. The community will answer. And other than that, just hack around, do stuff, go to the Bubble marketplace. There are plenty of plugins. Try them out, play around, and this is the best way to learn stuff. Just hack around, play around, and then you'll get to something.
Awesome. Thank you. So I mentioned the last bit is maybe there's something that you're looking for. You mentioned that you're potentially looking for people with some Bubble experience that would be keen to contribute to your DAO and then to LinksUp in general. What else you might be looking for, and what topics would people reach out to you about to talk about you on your Discord, of course?
Yeah, so one is the hiring part for sure. So if there are Bubble devs or people who want to learn Web3 Bubble or in general Bubble, you can join our Discord for sure and learn stuff and get in touch with us. On the other side, we are also very keen to talk to founders, also people that want to build applications, and they're looking for people who build that specific product. So what we're doing is kind of matching them together, because we have the developers in our Discord, and we have
Right.
also founders in our Discord, and then the founders can come to us, discuss about their idea, and then the developers within our Discord kind of match together, and then they build collectively the application, which is quite interesting. And yeah, so if you have an idea, you always thought about, I want to build this and that, but I don't know exactly how. Our Discord is your place. So you can join there, and then we can discuss your idea. You can talk to devs. You can get to be a dev yourself, or yeah, find any way to make your idea happening.
Great. Last but not least, where can people find you? What's the best way to contact you, and where do people actually get to a Discord channel? It seems to be the kind of universal gateway, but where do people start looking for you guys?
Yeah, so Albert, you can share the link or something, but yeah, essentially Twitter, reach out to LinksUp, Twitter. I posted also my email here in this chat, so you can also just drop me an email. And yeah, we're quite active. I think you will find us. Just go to our page, find us there. I think everything is linked there as well.
Okay, last question, kind of like a little bit of a cliffhanger for maybe our next meeting in a year, when you will be getting the number 2 product of the day. I think that's the only one you guys are missing, right? You got the 1, you got the 3. Let's go for the 2. What do you think is the next biggest challenge for LinksUp and you personally as Web3 developers and no-code developers? What's next? Like what's your objective? Like what's the mount that you're currently climbing? And this is the topic for our next discussion probably, but what is it?
Yeah, so for me it's mass adoption. So we see a lot of people are very interested in Web3, in NFTs, etc. But we haven't seen the mass adoption yet, even though there are very positive news, because on Instagram you can verify your NFT soon, right? And a lot of big platforms are interoperability is a big topic. They will integrate NFTs and tokens, and probably you can buy your Airbnb next time with Bitcoin or Ethereum, etc. So there are a lot of things in the making, but we haven't seen like the mass adoption yet, where my mother is also using MetaMask. And this is one thing. That would be the day. Yeah, so that will be the day. I mean, it's still a lot time to go for my mother to use it, but how about like normal like social media users, etc.? Yeah. Not very old people, but like normal normies, as it's called in Web3. So getting mass adoption is something we are looking forward, and yeah, we will be there with our tool once that inflection point reaches. For sure.
Albert, do you think there's anything else as your challenge that you're working on? Or this is the thing.
I know, to be honest, I totally agree with Sassun. I think that Web3 is definitely the next internet, is the technology of the future, but it takes some time. And these kind of things, like what happened to Luna and tanking of the market and stuff, these are actually a very important, parts of the journey which lead to actually in the future good stuff. More mature regulations and stuff like that. And I think we're more bullish than ever. And what drives us is the passion. Basically, we're fully in this thing, and I don't see a challenge as such. I see it as a matter of time, rather.
Yeah, you're right. Definitely, it's crossing the chasm between the early adopters and the enthusiasts into the mainstream market. Very, very similar to where no-code is right now. Probably we're somewhere close, and kind of helping each other to cross the whole that bridge between the early stages and then the mass adoption, when everybody even Sassun's mother will be on MetaMask and the Discord channel, of course. Yeah, that's the thing. All right. Thank you very much for your time. It has been an interesting discussion from all the different perspectives. Thank you for sharing your experience. And I'm hoping that next time we're talking, you guys have definitely moved to the next level, got your second place on Product Hunt, and got everybody you ever wanted on your Discord channel. Best of luck to you with that. And thank you for being here today with us.
Likewise. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Great talking to you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.